randomize your brain, and get ready to die again. It's time for the best roguelikes to play on PC in 2022. If you're looking to make the most of your new Lightspeed technology, roguelike games come in all shapes and sizes. While there are set rules to keep them within the genre, procedurally generated levels, permadeath, and a reason to keep playing, developers are constantly reinventing and pushing the concept further. This means we're as happy starting cults as we are escaping the Greek underworld and only killing enemies to the beat. Let's take a look at the best roguelike games to play in 2022. Let's start with our new obsession. There's no doubt that Cult of the Lamb is a roguelike, as we delve into procedurally generated rooms of grim enemies on the way to a series of bosses. But, and this is a big but, it's also an in-depth management game. As a sacrificed lamb brought back to life by a god, we form a community of fully customizable critters to rule over. But that means we need to care for them too. After they've been rescued, these followers must be fed and looked after, and the farming loops of growing enough berry bushes are just as exciting as heading into danger. Devotion is also important here. You don't want your followers becoming jaded while you're off adventuring for more bone fragments. So we need to perform daily sermons to keep everyone on track. It's a good cult. Honest. We'll admit it. Even thinking about Hades makes our thumbs twitch in anticipation of a fresh run through the Greek underworld. Supergiant Games' ultimate roguelike is officially a masterpiece. If you've somehow missed it, maybe you've been trapped in a mystical realm of deadly legends, Hades follows Zagreus as he attempts to flee the many layers of the underworld ruled by his father Hades.
Stupid boy. I told you nobody gets out of here, whether alive or dead.
Our powers and abilities come courtesy of the Greek gods, who defer randomized gifts on Zagreus to improve his chances of escape. But the live-die loop here is exceptionally clever. While we obviously lose our powers when we keel over, we keep our earned items to unlock better weaponry and level up our skills at the Mirror of the Night. This means that some runs you'll actually want to die once you've collected enough so you can scurry back and invest. Speaking of, we're going to have to move on before we abandon this list just to go and play some more.
Good to see you, lad, despite the circumstances. Remember your training out there. The pain of death is but another obstacle.
Edmund Macmillan's repeated additions to the Binding of Isaac with sprawling DLC packs is almost like a real-life roguelike. Just when you think you're done, when you've plumbed the depths beyond the basement and beaten every boss, yet another series of diabolical foes is unleashed. The most recent edition, 2021's The Binding of Isaac Repentance, adds even more powers and items to this horrifying world of deadly faces and monstrosities. And yet, we keep playing. Every roll of the dice in Isaac's vile universe is irresistible. How will these tear editions stack? Will we try one more room before the boss? What if there's something even better in there? The purity of the roguelike experience here is truly compelling, and the sheer variety means that even after a run of over an hour, we're still willing to dive right back in to do it all again. But what if a regular roguelike doesn't feel tricky enough? If all the limited hearts and endless dungeon-based perils aren't quite enough stakes? Well, Crypt of the Necrodancer demands perfect rhythm skills too. Every step and attack here must hit the beat of the brilliant soundtrack from Danny Baranowski. And yes, initially it feels like patting your head and rubbing your stomach at the same time, but very quickly, this fiendish roguelike feels just incredible to play. Moving and attacking to the beat adds an incredible new element. And nothing feels quite like keeping your internal metronome going at the same time as decimating dancing skeletons. There have been a stack of add-ons since its original release back in 2015, including Synchrony, that lets you do the whole thing with a friend. But even the lone experience is sheer music to how roguelike is. Let's step away from the bright disco lights of the Necrodancer and grab a flaming torch instead, for another descent into the gloom. Darkest Dungeon 2 is still only in early access on the Epic Store, with a full release scheduled across the board in 2023. But that doesn't mean it shouldn't be on this list. For the sequel, Red Hook Studios has made some big changes. The turn-based combat of the first game is still here, but instead of our grim town base, our heroes are on a traveling quest, meaning that each run can actually be hours long as you try and get as far as possible before everybody dies and you have to start over again.
Let us hope they find peace.
The previous sanity effect for each individual character are still a big part of things too, but now we've got party relationships to deal with on top. This means not only do we need to keep everyone as healthy as possible, but also try to maintain their friendships in the face of apocalyptic doom. Good luck. Time for something a little different now, and we'll try and stay vague about Inscryption while attempting to tell you why it's a brilliant roguelike game. This is a mashup of multiple genres. Sometimes deck building in first person, sometimes exploring and solving escape room style puzzles. As with many of the best horror movies, you find yourself in a cabin in the woods pitted against the so-called Game Master, with a rather unique set of cards. Unique and not as adorable as they sound. Inscryption comes from the same developer as Pony Island and Hex, so if you've been through either of those games, you'll know that unexpected twists are the order of the day, and this is never going to do what you think. Don't read or watch any more, just trust us and play it. And finally, we'll finish things up by keeping this set to card mode. Slay the Spire is a brilliant mashup of deck builder and roguelike, as we attempt to climb the titular spire, murdering all kinds of strange foes and collecting fresh cards as we get higher. Slay the Spire keeps us on our toes with randomized, well, everything. Paths, cards, relics, layouts and bosses are all entirely unpredictable. Finding new ways to combine cards feels genuinely incredible, and finishing one run just means another chance to go in and find new killer permutations. And even better is that a full run to the top only takes about an hour, so it always feels achievable, even if you just want to win and dive straight back in. So that's the best roguelike games you can play right now. Let us know your roguelike vices in the comments below, drop us a like if you enjoyed the video, and don't forget to subscribe to Logitech G for more features just like this one. If you already do subscribe, hit that notification bell to make sure you never miss another video. And congratulations, we survived. There's no need to start this list all over again.
All problems have their solutions, even the big ones.